Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Football Unplugged with me, Satvik. Today, we are doing a very special segment on the Premier League season of the 22-23 season, in which we saw Manchester City being crowned as the champions once again. Not being a City fan, honestly, I'm quite fed up of them winning the Premier League. But honestly, hats off to them. I think the way they pulled, the season back after Arsenal took almost a 8 point lead after the end of the first half of the season. Uh, Great job to them. But again, I think if before the start of the season, Arsenal would have sort of discussed that top four would have been their priority. So I think even a top two position for them, it's a great result for the particular season. And we had a surprise entrant to the top four or the Champions League qualifications as well, where Newcastle, a team who were very close to being relegated last season as well, is in the top four currently. Some great management by Eddie Howe, and also some brilliant performances put in by the entire team. And then we followed by Eric Ten Hag led Manchester United, who've been transformational. Not a lot of difference in points, let's say, but I think the overall vibe and the positivity of the club is very different from what it had been for the last, at least, post Fergie era. So yes, in today's segment, we are doing our Premier League of the season, and I have a very special guest and a very special friend with me, Mayank, who owns a turf in Chandigarh, Mohali, by the name of Gulazo, and is a very learned man when it comes to football. And we usually have a lot of discussions around football, and especially the Premier League. And when we sort of were having the discussion as well as to us wanting to do a Premier League team of the season, I thought why not make an episode out of it. So here is Mayank. Mayank, again, first of all, welcome to the show.
Hi.
And again, sorry for you being an Arsenal fan. It was a tough second half, but I hope overall you're happy, and I'm just very excited for the particular episode as well.
Yeah, I am actually really happy and thank you so much for inviting me for this. I am really excited for this.
Perfect. So, unlike a lot of other Premier League team of the season formats that you might have seen, which might have been dominated by City, Newcastle, Arsenal, or Brighton players, we are doing something completely different, where we are allowed to only choose one player from each team. So, unlike the other team of the season, we will not have tons of City, Brighton, or Newcastle players, right? So, just explaining of how the entire format will be and how we're going to be proceeding with this particular episode. Again, number one, that we are only allowed to choose one player from each team. Each of us will be disclosing our preferred formation, and followed by us going one on one by selecting each player for a particular position, and then also telling our reason for selecting that particular player. I think it would be a very interesting team, and knowing Mayank as well, I think our team would be very different from each other. But again, teams that will be competing very well. And just another disclosure: both Mayank and I do not know the other person's team as of now, so we're also getting to know each other's team of the season currently. So a great discussion coming forward, and I hope you thoroughly enjoy the discussion, and more importantly, take a lot of output clues and inferences from the discussion that we've had. So, Mayank, would you want to start? Would you want to tell what formation are you choosing?
Sure. So I almost went with the 4-3-3 formation because I love that formation, but in the end I just couldn't do it and I went with the 4-4-2 formation. My goalkeeper of the season is David Raya. I think first of all Brentford has been excellent and in itself Raya has been excellent. He has saved over more than 5 goals according to post shot XG and he has always been there in every match and they have been excellent all season and I think it's they have done a great job to have a top half finish in the second season in Premier League.
Yeah, 100% agreed. And so when it comes to formation, I was also very confused. When I started making my team, I thought I was going to select a 4-3-3 very obviously, switch to a 4-4-2, and then ended up choosing a 4-2-3 formation for my Premier League team of the season. Uh, Contrary to what I thought, I think both of us are starting on the same page. Even my goalkeeper is David Raya from Brentford. Mayank has already mentioned the quality that he has, and a 77% percent save percentage for the season. And I think overall, just his impact on the team, and I think the number of big saves that he's made and his distribution is also very underrated, right? Does not get the spotlight that probably an Ederson, Allison, or a Ramsdale gets, but I think he's absolutely brilliant on his feet as well. So my goalkeeper as well for my team of the season is David Raya. Uh, should I go next?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So okay.
definitely.
For my right back, I think probably one of the easiest choices and was probably the right back in all of the team of the seasons. My right back is Kieran Trippier from Newcastle. Again, I think along with Reece James, Trippier is probably the best right back in the Premier League when it comes to both attacking and the defensive side of the game. Adding to that, his leadership quality and how he sort of manages the entire team. And the n number of assists that he provided, coming up with a free kick here and there. I think he was one of the most important factors, especially for the first at least 25 odd games. I think he was probably one of the player of the seasons in the Premier League. So my right back is going to be Kieran Trippier. Mank.
Like Satvik said, this was probably one of the most easier decisions we could make. So my right back for the season is also Kieran Trippier. We couldn't have chosen any other guy. I particularly like him for his leadership abilities because I think when he joined in the squad, that squad was very inexperienced and they had no experience of playing against the top sides. And Kieran Trippier has really pushed in with his experience, and then he always adds those creativity. He's great at free kicks, corners, and he's also very solid defensively. I mean, Newcastle has the second highest clean sheets in the Premier League.
Perfect. You going to go next?
Yeah, sure. So my first center back of the season, and this was really difficult, but I've gone with Maximum Kilman. He's played all 38 matches for Wolves. Wolves have 10 clean sheets at home this season, which is higher than Arsenal, which is quite surprising, frankly. And he has been a solid rock throughout the season for Wolves. And the fact that he just came into the league an year ago, this is really surprising. So my center back of the season is Maximum Killen.
Perfect. Ian Kilman was a thought, and honestly, I think center backs, the two center backs, was the most difficult choice, very honestly, because of the limitation of only being able to choose one player from a team. And my first choice for the center back, which would almost disclose the fact that I am not going with Erling Haaland in my team. My first center back is Ruben Diaz. Again, a very difficult choice, honestly, to leave Erling Haaland out. But I've gone with Ruben Diaz just for the fact I think because of the defensive solidity that Diaz provides, I think it was very easy for Stones and Akanji Aki to probably go in front as well. And I think again a great leader in the defense, right? I particularly feel when you're playing some big matches, it's very important to have a leader in the back four. And I think he's been absolutely brilliant throughout the season. I think the season that he came in, he had brilliant performances, but I think he's sort of bettered that this season. So my first centre back and probably the most difficult choice is Ruben Diaz from Manchester City. So yes, going forward, my second centre back was someone who probably started the season as on who probably started the season on the bench. But I think ever since the change of manager and the change of scenario at Aston Villa, my second centre back for the season is Tyrone Mings. Again, very difficult choice, thinking of the entire formation. But I think ever since Emery's takeover at Aston Villa, I think it has completely revolutionized Mings. I think Mings last year had probably one of the best seasons, and he also got a call up for England as well. But I think he's more of a confidence man. There is no middle with Teron Mings. It's either Mings it puts in probably the worst performance in the team, or he is just one of the best defenders in the Premier League when he's on top of the game. So difficult choice and probably the weakest element of my team. So my second centre back is Tyrone Mings.
I actually consider Mings as well, and I just love his redemption story from going from captain of the team and then benched and then now back. It's just I love it.
Honestly, I think again a great leader also has a mistake in him, but I think just when you look at his defensive side, I think he's a brilliant defender.
Yeah, he absolutely is.
Mank, your
But
second centre back.
I didn't actually go for him, and there's probably a little bit of bias here, but I went for Thiago Silva. And I know this has been a very dismissed season for Chelsea, but he has been a solid rock whenever he has played. And they have not been that bad defensively, Chelsea. And whenever he has played, he has put in solid performances. He has pitched in with a goal or two.
Hmm.
And for the fact that he's doing this at 37 years of age is just remarkable. He's doing it in the best league in the world at 37 years of age. I just couldn't like put him outside of my team. So Thiago
Yeah,
Silva.
Thiago Silva, I think probably has been one of the best signing Chelsea has had over the last
Yeah,
3 4
absolutely. The
years,
fact
right?
that it was for free.
Free, right? And I think PSG just made a big mistake letting him go. Yaar. I think they're playing Pereira in the defensive
Yeah.
position, and Marquinhos and Kimpembe haven't had the best of season. So a big plus for Chelsea. Again, Silva was the only player that I could have probably bought in the team when it came to Chelsea. But again, good choice when it came to centre back.
My left back for the season is Purvis Estupinan. And this is a controversial choice, especially after the performances Luke Shaw has put in. But the fact that he came into the league, this is his first season in this league. He came in to replace Marc Cucurella, who let's just forget his season. But in the beginning of the season, he was sold for 60 million, and he was excellent last season. And he replaced him. He went through a managerial change, and he has been excellent throughout. He has provided 5 assists in this league, and he's very pressed assistant, and he has played almost all matches for Brighton. So I have chosen Purvis Estupinan.
I think it was probably again one of the more difficult choices.
Yeah,
I had Estupinian one, then Shaw, then Estupinian again. But again, with the formation that I finally chose, um, my left back for the season is Luke Shaw. Again, I think one of the most versatile players, and uh, again, when Chilwell is obviously not performing as well, I think best left back in the country by far. Chips in with a lot of assists, is a great attacking asset as well.
yeah,
And again, I think United have what 17 or clean sheets in this particular season. And even when he's chipped in at the centre back position in the absence of Varane, I think he's been brilliant defensively. So again, my left back for the season is Luke Shaw. But again, a very difficult choice. I would have had Estupinian as well. So a little bit, yeah. Again, thinking of the composition of the team, Luke Shaw fitted the team's composition better than Estupinian. Right, so we're done with the defensive four.
yeah,
I think a pretty solid defensive four and the
for sure.
goalkeeper, right? So yes, moving ahead, we're going to head into the midfield. So again, reiterating, I am playing with a 4-2-3-1 formation with two holding midfielders. So the first of the holding midfielder that I've chosen is Palinia from Fulham. I think
Yeah,
Casemiro's signing
yeah,
overshadows just because of the fact he plays for Manchester United. But I think the impact Polinia has had on Fulham, I think it's just indispensable. Probably the top three, top four signing of the season, according to me.
definitely.
Has the most number of tackles in the Premier League this season, and the second person which is Moises Caicedo, is almost 50 tackles behind him. So I think just a brilliant, brilliant signing, and I think a player who probably in the next 2 to 3 years, if stays in the Premier League, will definitely be a top six holding midfielder. So my first holding midfielder is Palhinha from Fulham.
So this also might be a controversial choice, but I have gone for Declan Rice as my midfielder for the season. And hear me out. So he's still highest in the league for interceptions. He's so good on the ball. He's very solid. He's a leader. He's the captain of West Ham at such a young age. He was also chipped in with a lot of attacking contribution this season. And even though West Ham has an up and down season, he has always been consistent.
Right.
And as you can see through my pattern, I love consistency. So I've gone for Declan Rice.
Well, again, Mike has already sort of filled in for my second holding midfielder. So, again, I think absolutely wonderful, wonderful player, Declan Rice. Again, a lot of inconsistencies with West Ham, but I think just having him there, his presence, his leadership, and I think just his composure on the ball,
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely wonderful. and leads the Premier League in interceptions, has improved in the attacking contributions this season than he's had
Yeah.
over the last couple of seasons.
The
It's
fact that everyone wants him.
exactly right.
Arsenal, City, Chelsea,
Right.
United, Newcastle, they're all interested in him.
Again, I think just a wonderful player. I have no other words or no other way to put it. Just a beautiful player, and again, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. So my second holding midfielder is Declan Rice from West Ham.
My second midfielder, it's pretty easy for me. It's my captain. It's the captain of my team, Martin Odegaard. He's chipped in with 15 goals and 7 assists. That's pretty amazing in itself. But I find the whenever Arsenal has been down, he has picked us up. He's chipped in with the most important goals, one of the most important goals that we wanted. And like the aura that he brings to the club is just brilliant. So I just love him for him. I couldn't have him, not have him in this team.
Again, again, I think when I just started thinking of it, I had Odegaard nailed in my team, right? Obviously, formations play a very different part in this, so I really wanted to have Odegaard in my team. I think if you exclude Haaland, I think was the Premier League player of the season apart from Haaland, right? Just a great player, a silky feet, comes up at the big moments, scores goals, gives assists, brilliant vision, great composure, and I think one of the silent leaders. You wouldn't see him like a Granit Xhaka or
Yeah,
different captain like a Declan Rice being out there, right? He's a very silent captain, but does is a leader in a very different way. So again, I really wanted to have Odegaard, just a wonderful, wonderful player, but the number 10 that I'm going to choose for my 4-2-3-1 is Alexis McAllister from Brighton. Uh, I think Brighton is probably the most surprising and the most wonderful and the most heartwarming story. I think lost the manager, lost what, four, five main players: Yves Basuma, Marco Correa, right, Leandro Trossard. A lot of things happening, but I think they play the most beautiful football with Arsenal and Manchester City in the Premier League. And I think Alexis McAllister has been at the center of it. Whether he plays a slightly deeper role, picks out passes, then picks out long balls, creates spaces for the other players, or when he plays as a number 10 as well, just finds a lot of assists, created free kicks. So my number 10 and probably I think Brighton's player of the season, according to me, is Alexis McAllister at the number 10 position for me.
that's a great pick. I must agree. Now it comes for now as I told you, I'm playing a 4-4-2 formation. So I've come to my left wing for my position, and I've chosen Marcus Rashford. This was a pretty easy pick for me because I don't think without Marcus Rashford, Manchester United would have even finished in the top six, let alone top four. And the run that he had in the middle was just amazing. He was scoring a goal every match. His ball striking ability is one of the best in the world. He always chips in with goals. And now he's brought that maturity in his game. He's more and in a better system.
Correct, correct.
He has just outshone the expectations. So I've gone with Marcus Rashford.
I think Wayne was probably nailed in my team when I started thinking about a 4-3-3. Again, yeah, Manchester United are a different thing when Marcus Rashford is on the pitch. Just a wonderful player, and I think again a great redemption from him. I think even though I'm not a huge fan of Manchester United. One player I've always wanted to do well is Marcus Rashford. Really happy how he's
He's also
performed
a
this.
really nice lad.
Really nice lad, right?
Yeah.
So just very happy for Marcus Rashford this season. But yeah, unfortunately couldn't get into my team. But again, would have been a choice and definitely one of the better choices for the left wing position. So again, I've completed my 4-2 and number 10. So the three people that are left are the two white players and the center forward. On the left wing, I've gone with Gabriel Martinelli from Arsenal. A very difficult choice, honestly, but in my personal preference, if even normally I would have chosen a Premier League team of the season, I would still have Martinelli over Rashford. Again, I think he's matured a lot, and I think Arsenal, with his speed, with his decisive thing, and with just his direct approach, and he does not messes a lot, right? He will not do a very fancy flick like Vinicius. He will just go out, probably find a pass, take a shot, and I think just a great player here. I think such a good asset to have. And I just absolutely love that guy. Scored some brilliant goals. What 15 odd goals, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
15 odd goals in the Premier League this season. And he was out injured a couple of matches as well, and was probably benched as well when Trossard came.
Trossard came in.
And
Yeah.
Jesus being out was probably one of the factor that he did not score probably 20 plus goals, because as and when Gabriel Jesus plays for
Yeah.
Arsenal, I think
They have.
Martinelli is a different thing
Yeah.
altogether.
They have
So
lovely chemistry.
again, I would have chosen Martinelli over Rashford, even if we were just putting a regular team of the season. So left wing position, Gabriel Martinelli for me.
Yeah, that's an excellent choice, but I wouldn't have Martinelli over Rashford in my team.
Yeah. Again, I think we have a very different approach when it comes to picking
Yeah.
teams, but yeah, I think I'm just a fan of Gabriel Martinelli. That's all.
I am a fan of him as well, but the what Marcus Rashford brings to the table is not, it's an ability not many people have. Like I remember the Manchester United and the Arsenal match, and this goal he scored from outside the D, so far behind. The ball striking ability is just
I think
ridiculous.
KDB and Rashford, I think probably the best strikers of the ball in the Premier League, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially
Yeah.
when it comes to good shooting. I think I remember that PSG free kick every time, right? It was against no Chelsea free
Yeah.
kick, right? Chelsea.
I am not sure which
That
one you're
Rashford
doing.
scored around 30 odd yards. I don't even. It was against Chelsea. I think Willy Caballero was the goalkeeper. Just had so much bend and curve to that free kick. Just a great ability to strike the
The
ball.
power that he brings to it.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. Mike, your next pick.
My I know the like my next pick is Mohamed Salah, and I know that Liverpool, for all of us, have had a really bad season. But individually, I don't think he's had that bad of a season. He's got 19 goals. He's got 6 or 7 odd assists, and yeah, he's done his part. It's and often we see when any big player gets a big ass contract, Aubameyang, they stop performing, but he hasn't done that. And like even if Liverpool weren't performing, he was always trying hard. He was always giving his best, and like yeah, 19 goals is not a bad season at all.
Exactly. Right.
And we've just discounted that because we all think that Liverpool has had a bad season.
Yeah.
So that's the pick that I've gone for, Mohamed Salah.
Again, 100% agreed. My pick on the right wing again is also Mohamed Salah. I think the fact that he's set such high standards for
Yeah,
himself, I think he's a victim of that. And that is something that we usually see with very great players, right? Like of Messi, Ronaldo, even Son for that matter. Obviously, he's had a very poor season in Salah's comparison. But I think they're just a victim of the standard that they've set. Again, Salah had a brilliant season. And very honestly, I think right wing was also a very difficult position. I had Brian Mbuemo from Brentford
hmm.
one time as the right winger as well. I think
Yeah,
in Tony's absence, and I think I think he's just a very underrated player in the Premier League. I think he has
true.
an absolute brilliant crossing ability, and I think as compared to the last season, he's chipping in with
Yeah,
goals as well this season. But again, was a choice between Salah on the right wing and Raya at the goalkeeping position, or Mbuemo at the right wing, or Allison as the goalkeeper. So I went with again Mohamed Salah as the right winger. Again, Mike has already explained. Again, similar point of view, similar choices. So yes. Mohamed Salah is also my right wing. And again, going with the center forward, I think it's pretty obvious now who the center forward is going to be. Again, my center forward and the last man in my team is Harry Kane. Unbelievable player stuck at a shitty team. I think that is how one would
yeah,
describe Harry
true.
Kane. And again, I heard this thing on Twitter. Heard this question on saw this question on Twitter, which again got my mind running. Would Erling Haaland score 30 goals with this Tottenham team?
Mm,
And honestly, I'm not sure. Right.
yeah, true.
So again, I think if he would have been at Manchester City, he would have probably broken more records, scored in what 27 odd league games this season. Again, a record set by him. Just a beautiful player. I think ever since Mourinho took charge of Spurs as well, I think his build-up play has also improved considerably. A brilliant player, brilliant leader, comes up with a goal just literally out of nowhere. You would probably sometimes see Spurs being shit, Spurs not having possession, and then Harry Kane would just come in, score a goal, and just get that momentum that Tottenham needs. Again, in terms of just impact, I think he's by far one of the most impactful players in the league. And yeah, choice over Haaland, considering the choices that I had, my center forward is Harry Kane.
Yeah, like I said, like he said, the fact that he scored 30 goals with this Tottenham squad, that apart from Harry Kane, no one was able to score a goal regularly.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have even finished in the top half without him.
100%,
Yeah,
100%, yeah.
and he's been doing this with
For
this
the,
squad
correct.
for so many
Yeah.
years. So absolutely, and yeah, I also think that Erling Haaland wouldn't score
30 goals.
30 goals with this Tottenham squad. It also makes me wonder how many goals would Harry Kane score with the in the Manchester City squad.
Again, and with
Yeah,
rumors of United, even Real Madrid, and even Bayern Munich, I think would be a great summer. I definitely want Harry Kane out of Spurs, but again, Daniel
okay.
Levy is the shittiest man to have as a player.
I think either he's gonna go this season or next season for sure.
And again, I feel next season might be too late. I think he again the I think the decline of players, especially with the last 5 10 years has sort of delayed, where the decline sort of starts
Yeah.
35, 36. But again, I think he's at the perfect age, I think at his prime, and should definitely be leaving. Again, reiterating the fact Daniel Levy is a shitty person to have as the chairman of the club. Again, he would rather sell Harry Kane for zero than probably sell him for 100 million to Manchester United, is what I feel.
I disagree. I think he's gonna go for a hard bargain, but he wouldn't let Harry Kane leave for free. He would sell him this season if a good offer comes in. The only point is if a good offer comes in. Like I would have loved him to go to Bayern because he would have broken all records at Bayern. But as the reports tell us, he wants to stay in England.
I
He
think
wants
he
to,
wants that Premier League
yeah,
all-time goal scoring record, which again I think, to be in all fairness, he deserves as well.
yeah, he's got the Tottenham record
Yeah,
already this
yeah,
season, which was a very big deal
yeah,
in
100%.
itself. Yeah.
So yeah, again I think Mank's last
Yeah.
person left for you.
And I think it's pretty obvious. I have not chosen a player from the champions. It's Erling Haaland. He's broken the Premier League record. He scored around more than 50 goals this season, all in all competitions. He is just amazing. He has transformed this team and he has proved all the doubters wrong whether Manchester City could adapt with Erling Haaland and if whether Erling Haaland could adapt with Manchester City. They've all been proved wrong. He has had an amazing season and I think he has played a huge part in them winning the league and he couldn't go have a team of the season without Erling Haaland.
100%. I think that I know I'm going to get a lot of slack for this, Keel. You're not keeping a Premier League goal scoring record holder in your team of the season. But again, I think that was the most interesting part when one had to build this, this team of the
Yeah.
season with only one player.
Actually, to be honest, I almost left him out as well because the fact that there's such an able second best striker in the
Yeah.
league in Harry
And again,
Kane.
I think the fact, my probably other defensive choices, apart from Ruben Diaz, I had a Ben Mee or a James Tarkowski in mind.
Yeah.
But again, I think my defense would have been very poor then. So I rather had a strong defense. So again, I think we'll also be showing our teams of the season in the screen as well. But again, I'll go with my team of the season together. I play with the 4-2-3-1 formation. David Raya at goal, Kieran Trippier at the right back position, then Ruben Diaz and Tyrone Mings at the centre back positions, and Luke Shaw on the left hand side of the defense. The two holding midfielders are João Palhinha from Fulham and Declan Rice from West Ham. Alexis McAllister from Brighton plays as a number 10 with Gabriel Martinelli and Mohamed Salah on each flank, and then Harry Kane leading the lineup.
Yeah. And I, to reiterate my team, I play with a 4-4-2 formation. My keeper, and I think we've got four common
Four
picks. So
common
that's
players.
pretty great. Like we've had
Yeah,
7 different players for our team of the
yeah.
season. Yeah. So
Which I think I expected, very honestly.
yeah. So my team of the season, it's in a 4-4-2 formation. My keeper is David Raya. My back four is Kieran Trippier at right back. Right centre back is Maximum Kilman. Thiago Silva is my left centre back, and left back is Pervis Estupinan. My holding midfielder for this formation is Declan Rice. Just a bit ahead of him, it's Martin Odegaard pulling the strings. And then on the flanks, there is Mohamed Salah and Marcus Rashford. And I have a strike partnership of Harry Kane and Erling Haaland.
I
How
think
deadly is that?
two very a very scary front two to have.
Yeah,
I think
our
everyone.
front four.
Yeah, a very scary front. The pace the team has, fuck. I think
Yeah,
just. I think two very different teams, but two very strong teams. I had a lovely time. I had to run my minds in all directions. Left out some very able players, right, for this particular 11, but had a fun time. And Mank, thank you so much. I think
thank you so
your
much.
your team is obviously would probably be a team that I might be my number two team as well. And yeah, I think just a fun chat. And guys, you guys let us know what would be your Premier League team of the season if you had the same limitation or same restrictions as us. And I'd love to hear your sort of teams and love to see your teams. Probably there is a team out there that is probably better than the teams that we have on
I
offer.
doubt.
I highly doubt, but yeah, I love to see other people chip in with their team of the season. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was a very fun chat. It was a very fun
And
episode. I hope you guys like as well. And just stay tuned. We have another fun segment coming up on the Premier League, which would be the Premier League Awards of the season. That is another episode that I'll be recording with Mayank itself. So Mayank will be with us for another episode, another coming episode. Till then, stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel and just spread the culture of football in India. That is what I think the ultimate goal for all
yeah,
of us is, right?
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
And don't forget to like this video.
Don't forget to like this video. Thank you.